Well, I hope you guys are doing great. We're back down here again. I did a video last week. I didn't post it because I really didn't like it, to be quite honest with you. I buffed this car. I went over this whole car and just cleaned it up. It's slick now. It's slicker than it's ever been. I did a clay bar. Well, I'll just show you guys everything I did. I'll insert a clip right now of what it was like on, I think it was on this driver's side fender here, of what it sounded like with the before I clay barred it. I mean, this thing was just, the paint on it had so much overspray and contaminants, pollution, whatever you want to call it, in the paint. It was bad. I haven't clay barred this car or buffed this car since the early 2000s. I haven't really waxed this car in, I don't know, 7 years. So this paint was due. I mean, it could use a paint job. I mean, but my grandfather and his buddy painted this car 25 years ago. It's kind of sentimental to me. So it's 25-year-old enamel paint. Doesn't look too bad, I don't think. Get over here kind of in the brighter light, as you can maybe see it a little bit better. The only things I have left to do to this car is I'm going to clean the engine bay up. I'm going to clean the inner fenders up and all that. I got a set of spark plugs for it. I got a couple boxes of those I got to put in today. I do need to get a new steering shaft. I don't have a flashlight on me, but you can hear that. The joint hooks into the steering rack. It's got a bad joint in it. It's got a lot of play in it. I noticed that the other day when I was putting it all back together. But, you can hear the difference in the paint now. That's the passenger side front fender, and now you can hear the driver side front fender. The first thing I did was I washed the car. Here is my new clay bar thing. This is from Griot's Garage, this company. I got this at Advance Auto Parts, I think, a local, well, yeah, Advance Auto Parts. That's where I got this from. It was on sale for $19. I used that on it. I thought this was going to scratch the car. This is just like rubber. But I ended up using this from Chemical Guys. This is just what I used. This is a wrench-free car wash. It has a lot of lubricants in it to help out. Because, I mean, it's a wrench-free car wash. No water required, basically. So I mixed some up in here with a little bit of water and soapy water, basically, and I used that on with this, and it worked really, really good. You can also use quick detailer or whatever. I started out using this on there, but I decided to hold off on that and use this because I can mix more of that up and it'll last me a little bit longer. Then I dried it. After I did that, I pulled it in here and I hit it, and I dried it off with the microfiber. And this is the buffing compound I used on it. The 3M, I really like this compound. I've used this stuff forever. I used it with the white compound. This is just some extra ones I have with my buffer. The white foam pad, that's what I used it with the rubbing compound. Then I swapped over to this. This is from Chemical Guys. This is their V36 cutting polish. I swapped over to that with the blue, as you can see the red from the enamel paint. The blue pad, that's what I ended up using with that. And then I buffed it off with a microfiber, and then I swapped over to this glaze. This stuff right here really made a difference. I like using the McGuire's glaze. I've used it a lot. I don't have any, so I just ordered some of this because Chemical Guys had a big sale. And I said, you know, I'll just try some more of their products. I seem to like their car wash, so I just decided to give their stuff a shot. This glaze worked really good. I really liked it. It really brought out the shine in my car. It made the paint look deeper. I used it with a yellow pad. That's what I used it with. And then I finished it off with this butter wet wax. I really like this wax. This is my new favorite wax. I know Adams Polish makes some. They're just really good as well. I've used it before. A friend of mine had it, but I decided to use this. Use that with the old school wool pad. That's what I use. It's still dirty. I never washed it. This is what I usually clean my pads with. I got some of this stuff as well. This stuff works really good. This is from Chemical Guys. It works amazing. You don't take a whole lot, just a couple squirts, and then you just take a brush or something and clean it off, then go rinse it off. Ended up using these smaller pads to get into all these tighter areas that you can't get into. That's what I bought these for. I ended up using those on a drill. It made it a little bit easier for me, but I used this as I swapped it up. I used this for my rubbing compound #1. Then I ended up using the green, I think, for the polishing, and then the yellow for the glaze. Then I ended up using another one of these for the final waxing on the smaller stuff. So that's what I did. Just a little quick rundown. I'm not going to go over well, I went over everything, but I wasn't going to show you guys because it's just really boring and yawn. So rinse and repeat. So I am going to do a tune-up on this thing, though. Like I said, I'm going to do a quick tune-up on it. I'm going to adjust the carburetor. I'm going to clean the air filter. I got to order that steering that steering U-joint down there, and I'm going to put a new fuel filter on it, and I'm going to clean up the interior and blah blah blah, and this thing should be ready to go. I'm going to drive this thing. I want to try to drive this thing more this summer. Guys and girls have, mostly guys, have been asking me, where's this thing? I want to see more videos of this. Well, here it is. We're going to be working on this thing as well in this video. I'm going to be doing a tune-up on it. I want to get this thing ready for car shows. I'm going to wait and wash it because it's raining today. Every weekend it daggum rains right now, but we're going to pull the spark plugs out on this thing, put new plugs in it, read the ones that's in it, see what cylinders are running rich, if I can tell off the plugs. I'm going to put new plugs in it. I'm going to adjust the valves. I'm going to adjust the carburetors. I'm going to check the timing on it. Tune-up is done. I took the air cleaner off where I just got through washing it out. I'm going to let it dry for a day or so and let it get good and dried out. I did tune-up. Every time I do a tune-up on this car with these headers are a nightmare to do a tune-up with. But where the dipstick tube goes down, I always end up having to break the spark plug off just so I can get the old one out, and the new one it goes in pretty easy. I don't understand that, but the last two tune-ups have been like that. So with that being said, this thing's pretty much done. I'm done with it for now. I got the got the old car pushed in, got the buggy pulled out. I pulled all the spark plugs out of it, and cylinders 1 and 2, the plugs look identical. Let me go over here to the well, hang on. Here we go. On cylinders 1 and 2, the plugs look like it's running pretty good on them. I mean, if you can see that, looks like it's running fairly good, not too bad. But on cylinders 3 and 4, it looks like it's running a little bit lean. That's the only downfall to dual carburetors. All the carburetors are the exact same jetting all the way around. So I think what I'm going to do is I might check for a vacuum a leak around the carburetors or whatnot, just spray around with some brake cleaner just to see if it changes. And if that doesn't change, I might end up jetting this carburetor just a little bit fatter than the other one over there, just to see what that does, since this side is running a little bit leaner than the other side. Not a big deal, it can be fixed. That's why you pull plugs out and you check them. Well, I'm doing the valve adjustment here. I did the driver's side, the cylinders 3 and 4 over there. They were still dead on. I've been doing the passenger side here, cylinders 1 and 2, and cylinder 2, the intake was just a little bit loose. I had to adjust that one, and other than that, everything was good to go. Valves are all done, it's all adjusted, and spark plugs are put in, so it's getting a little late today. It's almost 7 o'clock here. It's getting close to 7, it's like 6:30 almost. So I guess I'm going to call it a video for today on this thing. I think tomorrow we'll come back and we'll fire it up and let it run, and I might pull plugs on it on this side, see what they look like, and I might just go ahead and jet up this side a little bit, go the next step up on the idle and the main. Not a big deal. But the only thing I have left to do on this thing really is, man, I was really thinking about doing the windshield, but I don't want to tackle that. The thing's such a pain in the butt. But the only thing I got left to do is check the timing on after I get it warmed up. Well, I hope everybody's doing great. It's a new day. I just got off work a little while ago. 70 degrees today and sunny, so I figured I'd come over here and work on this thing a little bit. It's been actually a few days later since I've videoed. It turned really cold and it snowed and all sorts of crap. Now today 70 degrees. Good stuff. But we're going to start on tuning my carburetors. I've already ran this thing for a little bit. I sprayed brake cleaner around the base of the intake where it meets the head. Idle never changed. I sprayed brake cleaner around the base of the carburetor where it meets the intake. Idle never changed. So I did it on both carburetors just to see what happens. So what I'm going to do now is I already took the linkages loose from the carburetors to the throttle. I'm just going to start over the carburetors. I have 55 idle jets in it. I'm going to swap that over to 60s. The main jets in this thing, I think I have 140s in it. I'm going to put 145s in it because as I remember, and I'm sure you guys do because you're in the same video, this side was running leaner than that side, but it's still kind of lean running. I don't want to run this thing really, really lean. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to just tune on the idle mixture screws and just see what we can get out of it. I took the air cleaners off, and we're going to swap out the main jets right here, like I said. I'm going to get those two swapped out. I'm going to swap out the two idle jets that are right here, and then right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's one right there. I already just took off the filters right here, the little screens. They're clean on both sides, so that's a good thing to do. Good thing to know, I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out these jets. I'm going to start swapping out all 4 idle jets and all 4 main jets as I drop my screwdriver. I'm looking through the camera trying to turn a screw. I'm But we'll swap out all 4 of these real quick, get rid of these 55s. We'll put some 60s in there and just see what it does. Got the engine running, as you can see. Got them both pretty much synchronized, pretty much. You can see that. Basically, put the little snail gauge on there, and I just turn the idle screw up just a little bit. Got this one up. I got them both sitting on 7. I can live with that. I set the timing on it too as well. It was, I don't know, distributor clamp was a little bit loose, so I don't know if the distributor moved or what, but it was set at, I think it was about 11 degrees. So I put it back down to 7, about 7.5, I guess, somewhere right in there, best I can tell. So it's kind of hard to tell. I should have took the license plate off, kind of going around that, but oh well, I got that done. Got them pretty much synced in place. I swapped out all the jets. I'm gonna hook the linkages back up, and I'm gonna play around with the idle mixture screws here in a minute. Well, right now, here in a minute, I'm gonna do it off camera so I can sit there and listen to it, and we'll hook up these back, and then see how well she runs. Well, there you go. She's back up and running. She runs really good now. Really crisp throttle as normal though. So I'll take that as a win. We'll see how well it likes it. I'll check the plugs on after I drive it a few times and see. But I like the way this thing sounds. I think it sounds pretty cool. But I can't believe the timing on it was so off. But oh well, it is what it is. I guess that's it for me in this video. I'll catch you on the next one. I think I'm going to take this thing on a test drive. Well, probably tomorrow. I'm running out of time. Got to get home. But y'all be good to each other. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.